intellectual, non-smoking, SWM. Professional, 40s. Many interests, cultured, artistic, humorous. Unmaterialistic, multilingual. Disenchanted by business values. Unaddicted to weekending or getaways. Seeks SWF. Gentle, intellectual, unmaterialistic, attractive. Unmarried, 35 to 40, no kids. For fun, laughter, intelligent conversation. Sharing cultural interests. Romance.
As a way of getting started, perhaps you should try to say it briefly in your own words.
Long after I thought they had forgotten, my brother called.
Use simple statements, thank you.
Please go to the cafe across the street from the apartment.
We may begin the observations at any time.
Wait there for a phone call.
Affectionate, intellectual, non-smoking, SWM.
The waiter will seat you
Professional,
near the
40s.
telephone.
Many interests, cultured, artistic, humorous.
The waiter will take the call
Unmaterialistic,
and give the
multilingual,
telephone to you.
disenchanted by business values, unaddicted to weekending or getaway.
It will be as though you are talking to a
SWF,
friend.
gentle, intellectual, unmaterialistic, attractive, unmarried, 35 to 40, no kids.
Who else
conversation, sharing cultural interests, romance.
But there will
Well,
be no other
A
voice.
vulnerable man, 37, alive and humane, attractive and
Describe
fit.
every
Seeks
person
similar woman
that
for
enters the
friend,
apartment building.
playmate, lover.
Nothing is
Non-religious,
unimportant.
friendly to libertarian thought, emotionally open, intellectually honest. Hugger, cuddler, Bach lover, keyboard hacker, non-smoker, modest runner, Art Deco fan, occasional collector.
A very old person.
Pretty SJW, 39, successful, super smart, sensuous, sensitive, cuddly, affectionate.
The code is given on the menu that the waiter brings.
Seeks same in SJM, articulate for fun, friendship, and fantasy.
No one will interrupt
Intellectual,
you.
non-wealthy gentleman, 54, loves marble, gardens, mountains, sea, would share Provence or domestic equivalent.
Ooh, no one will want to use
Musically
the
sensitive lady,
telephone.
40-ish. I seek not wealth, but sharing beauty, caring, family.
This has been arranged.
Very accomplished. This is an unusual contribution to the meeting. The story is admirably clear, well prepared, and, even with allowances for recourse to notes, almost usable.
After what is expected, the waiter will bring the bill.
The time and date of this meeting,
Say goodbye and give the telephone to him.
are recorded for your protection.
You are free to leave
Honest,
them
love.
and to forget.
Country lawyer, 51.
This request is unusual.
Phi
I
Beta Kappa,
know.
trial weary, wants to yield.
I'm sorry.
Proven
I haven't
screenwriting
time
abilities
to
and
explain.
proclivities, seeks congenial woman, substantial, independent means.
Procedure has been
Needs a
approved.
trustworthy professional as a life mate. Promises additional glitter for the remaining golden years.
Best regards on your recent work.
Love the outdoors, tennis, long walks, ballroom dancing, also Baroque music.
The waiter greets me indifferently.
Cozy
A
evenings,
regular customer.
good conversation, youthful 50s, S, W, C, F.
I am seated by the telephone.
Seeking male
The menu
companion to
appears.
share interests, humor, humor, and good times.
The telephone rings, the waiter answers.
Here I am, another petite, attractive woman.
Moves it to the table.
Psychotherapist,
I study the menu.
41, nurturing, sensitive, intuitive.
Watching the entrance to
Looking
the
for that
apartment
man.
building.
Caring, imperfect, non-smoking, professional. There are no new words.
He is not my brother in the
Original
ordinary
thinker,
sense.
professional speculator, handsome, successful, intelligent, educated.
It is a word we use
Passion
in the
for
department.
Piero, Palladio, Puccini, pasta, SWM 41.
It means someone you can count
Seeks
on.
woman partner, discerning, pretty, young, bio, photo, replies confidential.
In any circumstances.
Let us go on for a moment to something else found in the dossier. A record of a sequence of events, apparently related to and occurring prior to the observations sequence. It would appear to be a typical, though somewhat melodramatic, training sequence, including both the confusion challenge and the place code memory requirements, and enhanced as prescribed by a sense of urgency. What parts of this reading can you confirm?
I will try to get this right the first
recognized
time.
her.
Yes, but
There's more to it than
to
that.
say just
You
that,
recognized
it's
her.
not the truth.
It was more than
The
recognition.
word is too secretive.
It hides something,
It keeps one of the secrets
which there is too much in this business,
kept in the desk
by desk people.
to make their lives
without
exciting, I
knowing
guess.
what a secret means.
Secrets increase the
It is hard enough
danger.
without the secret.
Indeed, I recognize her
First,
as the companion of my father.
then,
I recognized her in the mirror.
finally.
I recognize her as she greets
But
me.
the memory can't be trusted.
The artists are at
What
work.
does that mean?
Their assignment is to
Their
change the world.
assignment is appearances.
This artist can make you look like
When you
somebody's
hear
brother.
footsteps on the landing.
This artist comes to your place while you are
When you
gone.
return.
You don't live there
or
anymore.
Anywhere.
The artist is assigned to change the
Artist
world.
works for the department.
Shambles in the halls in worn-out
Makes
clothes.
friends with the custodian.
Tries to be invisible.
Through modesty.
And changes the world.
Not perfectly, of course.
Or permanently.
Just long enough to distract you.
to take your mind off
That's
things.
the danger.
The work of the artist.
Part of the secret.
Part of the secrecy.
The artist had worked on her.
For my benefit.
Benefit is the word.
To make her recognized
Play
by
lasts
me.
a few seconds.
Just long enough to take the mind
The
off business.
business of staying alive.
I thought you would never get
That's
here.
what she said.
And I thought so too.
Without knowing where here
You will know it when you get there.
When the surprise comes.
All the traveling seems
You
wasted.
could have come straight here.
Why see the mountains in the north of Spain?
Wherever they are.
Why enjoy the wildlife in the deserts?
And
Let's see how the Lapps are living this year.
it's been different.
They were having problems with the reindeer.
Recite Superior 7, please.
From the moment you step inside this elegant, spacious Grewar home, you will instantly appreciate its flowing and gracious floor plan. oversized high-ceilinged rooms, 3 bedrooms, 3 baths, maze room and beautiful kitchen plus pantry. Complete this perfect picture.
And
There is no end to India.
as we know,
It is so
lots of
very
differences there.
the final place of
Where they
empire.
go to die.
Not a country at all.
So we've been told.
A huge collection of places.
Probably complicated.
The how to get from has to be
Far
learned.
roads.
A huge collection of wrong turns.
Dead end.
Where the empire runs out of water.
Recite Jewel of the Nile, please.
Breathtaking reviews are yours from every room in this spacious 1,600 square foot home split. Master bedrooms each with own bath, surround expansive 26-foot living room, large formal dining room, new kitchen. Perfect for entertaining enclosed balcony, now a den, many closets and jacuzzi. Mid-condition.
The connections must have
There is
worked.
surprise.
The recognition comes
There
too.
is still surprise.
Don't forget the sudden
The
end.
swoon.
A state of mind has
I
ended.
have prepared myself.
With help, of course,
The state has gone to all expense.
to train you.
There should never be surprise.
Surprise is an end.
The ending of a state
Not
of
to
mind.
be cultivated.
It was a modern pleasure.
Surprise me.
The charm of modernism.
Just recently.
Not missed at all.
related to.
It can't happen here.
And
I will never
that
die.
kind of stuff.
Absoluteness, please.
There's an absoluteness to surprise, she thinks.
Where does that come from?
One of the media, probably.
I read it somewhere.
What about the telephone?
I practiced 6
How
months.
did you do?
Got it to face value.
Parlor tricks.
The guy that knows that it will
The
ring.
postmodernist.
He
About
laughs.
the absoluteness.
Where does that come from?
It's been around.
I know I read it.
What about the telephone?
6 months.
What kind of practice?
There is a room, a telephone.
Whatever makes you happy.
Just sit
Do
there.
whatever makes you happy.
Whatever you do, don't wait.
Then
Go to the phone
pick it up.
and hope you hear the voice.
Guy from the department said
You're getting better.
otherwise.
It rings.
You pick it up.
You're dead by now.
That's always hard.
I got through one whole
It's
day.
in the record.
Beat him 3 times
One
that
day out
day.
of 6 months.
All the other days I died at
No
least
wonder
once.
there's a population shortage.
It's surprise that kills him.
Absoluteness to surprise.
That guy knew something.
And after that,
We trained in other
the
things.
department went.
And
Still,
I.
sometimes he would go.
Nothing very dramatic.
Not middle of the night.
3 wrong numbers in a
Can't
row.
get the idea.
A real pain in the
The
neck.
4th time it rings
I pick it up.
and rings.
The guy from the department
4
laughs.
times in 4 minutes.
It's discouraging.
Keep cool, stay in school.
Keep an eye over your shoulder.
Hard way to learn.
I thought I was cooked when this one
Come in
started.
tomorrow for an assignment.
Not like that, of course.
Hello.
This is a
This
survey.
is education.
You have won a free trip.
To the end of the world.
You can bring a friend if you like.
Etc.
The call that I was waiting for.
Maybe waiting is not the word.
Then,
It rings again.
and the voice says,
They got you this time.
Funny thing is, I've never seen him.
Well,
Maybe I have.
too many times.
So far, it's just the voice.
You'll catch on.
He lives across the street.
Drives a car paid for by the
Gives
city.
his wife a love
When he
pinch.
thinks nobody's
And
looking.
calls me on the
To
phone.
offer you the prize.
Retirement.
Where you live forever.
So I report to the
To
office.
begin the trial.
The one that never
Free
ends.
trip to the end of the world.
And here I am.
Recite designed by well-known architect, please.
This impressive, spacious, brick, contemporary, expanded ranch, set in seclusion, a private cul-de-sac, elegant circular staircase leads to master bedroom suite, his and her dressing rooms, marble bath and sun deck, separate children's wing, 4 bedrooms and 3 baths, enormous great room and kitchen, all need to treat patio with in-ground pool, heated cabana.
And at the right time.
Go to this place
And
do this and that.
in order,
If everything is done
you
right,
will be met.
you may recognize the
Don't be
person.
surprised.
There will be a message.
Of great importance to you.
This is the first
You have
assignment.
to start somewhere.
You must be aware by now that certain themes are forbidden. They may not be spoken of for the record, even if they have what is the word occurred for you. References to her, India as a place to die, and surprise are in questionable taste, remember. With this warning in mind, you may continue with the narrative.
A kind of test of your
Your
understanding.
progress.
You will hear from us as usual.
Best wishes.
The one at the reception desk seems
The
to be
old
dozing.
one.
The trial or test of his understanding
You
long
stop.
past. What is the name of that feeling?
Pick up the phone.
The voice congratulates
The
me for
old
a
one
good start.
winks and smiles.
The feeling is too brief to have a
That
name.
was decided long ago,
It was my intention when this work was begun.
etc.
Where did I read that?
That the feeling is too brief
or
to have
why
a
it
name.
came to mind.
Recite Restored to Classic Elegance, please.
This six-room dream offers spacious living to the most discerning, marvelous for entertaining. Oversized living and dining areas. Access by French doors with maid guest rooms nearby. Original detail remains.
And about dreams
They give false order to actions
as
accumulated.
experience.
They supply the
What about
narrative.
the feelings?
The feelings are brief.
Too brief to have a name.
Dreams are interpretations of the recent past.
Unjustified, of course.
Dreams are phony stories
There is
about
no
ourselves.
true recent past.
Not in stuff that dreams are made
Just
from.
an accumulation.
That has to be accounted
Just
for
bookkeeping.
to satisfy a mysterious
is-
auditor.
Unnamed.
And once accounted for, forgotten.
This could turn into a theory.
If we are lucky.
Work on it some more.
Thank you.
Recite one-of-a-kind treasure, please.
Recently restored with distinct old world flavor. In impeccable taste by European-born artist owner. Main house, 8 rooms, 2 baths, master bedroom suite. Kitchen featured country living magazine. 2 fireplaces, 1 walk-in, antique, stained glass windows, beam ceilings, pegged oak floors, wine cellar, exquisite landscaping, greenhouse contains oversized hot tub, splash pool, brick walks and terraces, covered and uncovered, large barn for horses presently used as artist studio, riding ring, carriage house with efficiency, apartment, summer kitchen in outdoor area, stone smokehouse, secluded estate, historic district, convenient to major highways, buildings and grounds immaculately kept, land flat, gently rolling meadows and woods, overlooking trout stream, a one-of-a-kind treasure.
In other words,
To be forgotten.
if we are lucky,
And if not.
not forgotten.
Rehearse.
This is the hard part.
Until every action accumulated
Even
has
if it's
a
hard
name.
to remember.
Imagine a dream house.
In a severe landscape.
It's always
No
gray
problems
here.
for light-sensitive skin.
Can be reached by car.
But nobody leaves
Are there exceptions?
except to wake up
Having rehearsed and lost it.
one more time.
Not looking forward to
You've
return.
probably got everything.
Streets that don't lead to places.
Check them one more time.
The unbearable physicality of everything.
That's probably a clue.
The unbearable stupidity of everybody's
That might
action.
be one too.
The unbearable senselessness
That
of the
will
narrative.
not come together.
The artist is at work.
Or it's just writer's block.
Assigned to change
Recite
the world.
Country Estate, please.
All-stone slate roofed estate, located on 8 acres, a relaxed country-style architectural refinements, white stucco walls, elegant windows, elegant paneling, beautiful wood floors, entry foyer, charming living room, with fireplace, dining room, with fireplace, country kitchen, bar room, fireplace and built-ins, 4 additional bedrooms, 2.5 baths, complementing the main residence. Cutting gardens, specimen plantings, pool, clay, tennis court, large awning, terrace, outstanding opportunities, outdoor, family, enjoyment, recreation, fill, entertaining.
I thought you would never get here.
And I thought I could never leave.
That's the equation.
Balanced on the fulcrum of deep sleep.
6 times a night, probably.
And on the 7th sleep she
And
rested.
got up feeling great.
At least the dream was
What do you
over.
suppose all that stuff
Must
means?
be code for
Code
something.
for what?
Mundane history, maybe.
You mean a true story?
More or less.
Why didn't you say so?
Story of her first assignment.
You got this from the record?
She is told to go someplace.
This is a test?
But for keeps.
To see if she is careful.
To test her powers of
To
observation.
coin a phrase.
To teach her about herself.
Where is she?
Not exactly a fun
Dark
house.
passageway.
Unknown destination.
Doors and stuff.
She is looking for something.
But she doesn't know what.
She will know it when she
What about
finds
the real estate?
it. Code for something.
Why the recital?
The usual testing.
What about the dream?
That is harder to explain.
Keep at
What is remembered is only
We
a
can
dream.
leave it at that.
Memory blocks
2
anticipation.
sides of the coin.
Dreaming blocks the
Which is where the
present.
danger
They
is.
should coincide.
The phone call and the answer.
Or else it's too
What about the
late.
man across the street?
That's a hard
And the
one.
old one at the desk.
Don't forget about the artist.
In the halls in worn out clothes.
Makes friends with the custodian.
Tries to be invisible.
And changes the
Not
world.
perfectly, of
Or
course.
permanently.
Just long enough to distract
to take
you.
your mind off things.
Very poetic.
She goes on a trial
It
assignment.
is her first assignment.
A test of her courage
And a test
mind.
of her training.
The labyrinth is just a house.
Did we ever call it that?
Maybe not.
She is alone.
She is looking for something.
Doesn't know what the something is.
Imagines there is danger
So
somewhere.
she moves cautiously.
Memorizing certain
In a code that she has been taught.
She supposes that
If she survives this test,
she will be required
certain
to
questions
answer.
give description.
To remember what she has
Memory
seen.
encodings.
More accurate, less
She believes the
valuable.
danger is real.
She has been trained for
And
that.
so the danger in
First
this
assignment, this test.
has to be real.
There is a constant sorting
You mean in this life?
that she has not chosen.
But that inevitability is her.
And this assignment is just the first
Many
of-
versions of the
The
sorting.
sorting is irrevocable.
So the danger is real.
She moves toward the
Toward
center.
the danger.
There will have to be
Tricks of the
illusions
play.
that distract her.
And increase the danger.
Lapses of attention
Failings of wariness.
are indicated in
To the world of
references.
dreams.
Suddenly, finally,
She is
perhaps,
face to face.
what she knows is the test.
It is a person.
I thought you would never get here.
Yes.
There is surprise.
The recognition comes too late.
There is still
Don't forget the
surprise.
sudden end.
I thought you would never get
That's
here.
what she said.
And I thought so too.
Without knowing where here
You
is.
will know it when you get there.
When the surprise
All traveling
comes.
seems wasted.
You could have come straight
That's
here.
the danger.
The work of the artist is part of the secret.
Part of the secrecy.
The artist had worked on her.
For her benefit.
Benefit is the word.
Your technique of observation, as demonstrated in the transmission of the recording in question, shows real improvement. Now, let us go on to memory devices.
The apartment is useful for a certain kind of business.
We are honored to acknowledge your reputation.
An immense square room without furniture.
In the use of these techniques,
fingers on two sides,
Blonde.
west and north.
Green eyes, slender.
Careful view of
Well
the two
educated.
entrances to the
Traveled.
building.
Businesswoman. Divorced. Active with
the east
many
wall,
interests.
a small table with
Can't
a telephone.
relocate. Seeks refined gentleman. Sincere.
Mounted on the wall,
Successful.
a loudspeaker.
Legally free.
The telephone is amplified.
Divorced, male,
Warnings
60,
from the
medium
outside
build,
world.
attractive, educated, intelligent, warm, supportive.
The table is lighted
Wise in
with
the
bulbs.
ways of the world,
Come from the
independent
ceiling.
means, seeks slim woman, sensual, bright, attractive, educated, professional, 50-ish, for serious, monogamous, fun-filled relationship. Recent photo a must.
Zany, exuberant, leggy, merry widow, looking for good time, long term. If you love the theater, movies, romantic walks on the beach at sunset, send letter, please. I love to write.
Concupiscent, affluent, Pacific, Northwest, PhD. Former shrink-turned-investor seeking female, height, weight, proportionate, combination companion, long-term, and swinger.
If you are a successful, single, active man, around 60 more or less, interested in music, good food, investments, travel, birds, Scrabble, art, books, movies, gardening, family, or almost anything else. How about having dinner? See how the conversation goes.
Single and unseeable from the entrance door.
It is our understanding that these practices of yours are believed to be predictive in those societies where they are used. And you have claimed this for them in spite of repeated warnings about the possible consequences to be suffered.
On the floor, spreading from the east wall.
For advancing such claims.
Laid out in a great arc around the telephone.
Especially for persons such as yourself.
And filling the room, a
I am
map
a
of a small
presentable woman.
city.
Easy to be with.
The city blocks are cut from sheets of newspaper.
Repeat. Easy to be with. Drop me a line.
And obviously
Southern woman.
arranged with fantasy.
Single, Caucasian.
Each block isolated
and
by its
feminine.
surrounding streets.
Professional, successful, goal-oriented.
Hardwood floor
Living in a
with sheets
man's
of
world.
paper precisely spread.
Seeking a sensuous man with a desire and a persistence.
Person could not move across the map
To pamper me,
except cautiously.
an ability to conquer my fantasies. And explore my confusions. A man with an easy laugh, an understanding heart, a dominant spirit. A man more financially successful and older than myself, with an inner strength and an outer tolerance. A man with an ability to help and yet to soar. A man with whom I can learn and occasionally be defenseless.
Apartment is useful for a certain kind of
GWM
business.
39, 5'11", 155, strongly committed to civil rights issues.
This is a theater of ultimate precaution.
Seeks long-term relationship with other male. Caring and supportive. Interests include theater and psychology, literature and film.
An idea realized perfectly
Southern
to
physician,
include
40 years old,
surprise.
tall and handsome, DJ and non-smoker, seeks missing link.
The actor
Successful,
enters
stunningly
upstage
beautiful
right
blonde
in
woman,
full
intelligent,
view.
25 to 39, tall and slender, to share good times, sunny beaches, travel, hopefully new future.
Announced by telephone from the cafe across the street.
We have had the pleasure thus far of the observations sequence and the training sequence in performances that were acceptable, if not remarkable. You must have noticed that the intrusion of the language of analysis during moments of the training sequence was not welcomed by all of us. You know the reason well. It is antiquated. Let us go on to the objectivity sequence, where the rules of the exercise allow a certain flexibility of characterization in order that the requirement of plausibility is satisfied. You may begin at any time.
An answer is expected.
Yes, sir. It was just as I described.
He said there would be a dog at the window.
Can you blame me for being skeptical, a mere boy? I don't think he was 10 years old.
He said there would be a dog at the window.
I didn't know what he meant, of course.
He meant a dog's face.
I guess a dog can be said to have a face.
The face of a dog.
And that it would be terrifying.
The face of a dog. He kept saying that.
He was so confident.
He was so confident. Arrogant, if you don't mind me saying so. That's the way I thought of it.
An arrogant, mere boy.
With this story of a dog at the window.
And that it would be terrifying.
Of course, I had to show him he was wrong.
Maybe wrong is not the word.
Show him I knew what he meant.
The man and his wife had a dog.
I think it was purebred.
I think it was a purebred.
Medium size and lots of long hair.
I don't know what that breed is. I don't know much about dogs.
But sometimes they can be a little scary.
Especially the purebreds, that confidence.
It's almost a human characteristic.
That's why certain people like them.
I guess that's why certain people like them. And every day while I was there, they would take the dog for a walk.
And leave the boy at home.
I would be there with the boy, we would be talking.
The way grown-ups and children talk.
Half paying attention, half pretense.
I would try to get a little
I would try to get a little information.
About his background.
that it would be important later.
I knew then that it would be important later. I would try to get the boy to talk to me.
While the man and his wife were not there,
Mirror boy, tell me something.
Try to get this mere boy to tell me something.
it was obvious that he had something to tell.
There was something about him, about his past.
Something mysterious.
As though he had come from some other place.
Someplace almost not human. Maybe that's too much to say.
We would be talking. This and that, you know.
I say something.
I say something.
He looks away, distracted.
Or pretending not to listen.
Silly sometimes.
It made me feel silly sometimes. I would be looking for something to interest him.
A mere boy pretending not to listen.
Or just not interested. It's hard to tell.
God,
That feeling that he was trying to humor me.
that feeling that he was trying to humor me.
That's hard to
That he
take.
could turn on me.
Then he would turn on me as though I had pushed it too far. Can you imagine?
A mere boy, impatient with an adult.
And he would say it again.
Say it as a kind of threat. That idea about the dog at the window.
And when it comes, it is terrifying.
I began to think that there was something.
Finally, I began to think that there was something.
Wrong with him.
Something wrong with his mind.
You can never tell from the way he behaved. Completely grown up and not 10 years old.
I understand that that could be possible.
But I understand that that can be possible.
Maybe even typical.
When something is wrong with the mind.
The surface is more than ordinary. This mere boy was more than ordinary.
Take that into account.
I think we have to take that into account.
For positive or negative.
I mean, that's my feeling.
I mean, that's my feeling.
It's your decision, of course.
It's your decision, of course.
I'm just here to witness.
I'm just here to witness.
But it was an unusual
But it
assignment.
was an unusual assignment for me.
Let us remind you, as the details accumulate, that this procedure is a typical and straightforward regression. In this case, in 4 stages and without major structural changes, except that in this stage and in the stage that follows, your relationship to the first-person consciousness of the subject is limited and always in question. Think of this stage not as an impersonation, but as a time displacement exercise. We can continue.
He is a mere boy and more than ordinary.
So, to show him, to get his mind off this idea,
The idea that a dog would appear.
so that maybe we could talk.
Maybe I can find out something.
Maybe I could find out
Open
something.
the door one day.
I called him to the door one day.
When they were coming back.
It was about noon, but very dark. It had been raining, and it was going to rain again.
Everything was wet.
The place we were staying, of course.
You know the place where we were staying, of course.
The cottage, they called it.
Way out in the middle of nowhere.
God, how they stand that climate, I don't know. The road stopped about 50 yards away, came out of the trees, and just stopped.
You'd think they would bring it to the door.
Especially in that climate.
So whoever came to stop the car,
So
leave.
whoever came had to stop the car and leave it,
About 50 yards away.
and walk the rest of the way.
Is that way to make it safe?
Maybe it's that way to make it
That's the only
safe.
reason I can think of.
That's the only reason I could think
Otherwise, it
of.
makes no sense.
Otherwise, it makes no sense.
car and leave it.
Stop the car and leave it.
Walk 50 yards through the wet grass.
It was never cut like a neglected yard, not a field.
Must have been cut once upon a time.
While I was there, it was about 6 inches high.
While I was there, it was about 6 inches high.
And in that climate, it was always wet.
So whoever came, there was always business at the
Wet
door.
shoes and the smell of things
The
wet.
reason I am saying this is that we watched them coming. I called him
We
to the
stood there in
door.
the door together.
And we stood there in the door together,
watching them coming toward the house.
They had taken the car for some reason.
I heard the car pull in and stop. I called him to the door, and we stood there in the doorway together.
They got out of the car, the man and his wife.
The man opened the back door of the car and leaned in and put the dog on a leash.
Very dramatic, in a way that's hard to describe.
That gray, green, wet light.
We watched them get out. We watched the man take out the dog. We watched the woman wait.
So that they would walk together.
They saw us, of course.
And they waved in that silly way people do.
All of us living there together.
The man, the woman,
This mere boy
and me.
they know the assignment.
We suppose the boy does not know, I guess. We just stay there day after day.
Every day, the man and woman go out for 2 hours or so.
fresh air, some excuse, or when it's raining, into town for shopping.
Always the dog goes with
The
them.
boy never asks to go, never even asks.
And I would be left there with the boy, and I would try to talk with him.
To find out something.
It was my assignment.
They would be gone for a couple of hours.
When they got back, the day would go as usual. Cook a meal, listen to the radio.
I would play chess with one of them, or I would try to play checkers with the boy.
But he couldn't seem to
The
concentrate.
days passed, it seemed like an eternity.
At night, after everybody went to bed, I would write.
Reports.
Which you have read, I guess. I think there is nothing there, nothing in them. I couldn't find out anything,
Except this story about the dog.
which I tried to write, but it was too hard to write. I am not an author, you know.
The opinion on why we tell these stories is still out, so to speak. And the idea that any imagined interpretation of the character or circumstances combination, to be facetious, has its roots in some mysterious need to structure details remembered of previous lives, or any lives for that matter, has no consensus, as you know. We tell stories, and one is judged only on how well it is done. You may proceed.
We watched them approach through the wet grass. We were standing in the doorway together, and I said to him, "Is that the dog?"
He didn't even turn,
He just talked, looking straight ahead.
and not very loudly.
Now that I tell it, it seems more like a meeting.
Kind to get used to in this business.
2 men at a bus stop.
The folded paper, the sign, the whole quickness and the secrecy.
Afterwards, the worry that you got it right.
You have to get out when you get older. You can't trust your ears.
It happens so fast, as you know. One talks.
Looking straight ahead, the other listens just as the bus comes or the taxi or whatever.
So there was always that noise, too.
The doors open, one gets on the bus,
The other looks at his schedule and his watch.
waiting for the next bus. It happens as the bus comes to block the view.
So you are hidden from the observer.
A few simple sentences in noise. I think I got it right.
This was the same. As if the man and his wife were the observers. As if the pattern of the 4 of us together had just
Changed as if the sides had changed.
It was so brazen.
Looking straight ahead and talking.
It seems so unreal now, so impossible.
A mere boy and a grown-up.
Standing in a doorway together, talking about a dog.
He said it so perfectly, without hesitation. No, I know that's what you think, but you are wrong. That's not the dog. That's not what you will see before you leave. You think that I'm afraid of this dog. You think that I am trying to tell you something that I don't understand. But you are wrong. You'll see.
Like a grown-up talking.
I had the same sense of worry that I had heard it right.
When it happens that fast, you can't be sure.
It was like a dream. That's why this is so hard to tell. I had to pretend that nothing happened. I had to greet them both and talk about the weather, help them at the door, smell the wetness again. We unpacked shopping bags. They said that they had met a friend of mine in town.
The message, the assignment was over.
I thought how strange it was that it should end just now, just when I thought I had a breakthrough.
Finally, something to report.
The boy went upstairs. He left the three of us together.
Talking about the friend they had met in town.
It was as if he had left me alone with them, so that I could be sure I had got the message right. And that was the last time I spoke to him. I read some to spend the afternoon. We listened to the radio and made some supper. After supper, the boy went straight upstairs. Nobody said much then.
It was coming to an end and nobody knew anything.
I won't take another assignment like that one again. I prefer to be on the street.
Where the dangers are real, at least.
I tried to say in my report that I had something to tell.
Something that is too hard to write.
That's why I am here, I suppose.
Yes, yes, suppose. Very well done. That's here in the report, isn't it? May I quote you in your own words? Don't forget to use suppose. Well, perhaps. Not in your own words. Out of the old Mongoose and Cobra manual, don't forget to use suppose. We have found the report to be of interest and interesting in many ways like this. For instance, the meeting at the bus stop. Oh, the nostalgia of it. Old men eat sandwiches in hotel rooms doing crossword puzzles. But the report stops before what happened the next day.
I would not like to have to write that down on paper. After breakfast, I packed. I made the excuse that I had to be away for a few days, but I had called a car. What I had been instructed to say is that I would return.
In just a few days.
But I couldn't say it.
They knew, of course.
They had met a friend of mine in town. I could not lie in front of that boy. I could not lie. Knowing that he would know that I was lying.
There is a limit to foolishness, even in this business.
I could not lie, knowing what was in store for him.
The assignment had ended, everybody knew it.
The cleaner done with, the better.
So, finally, I simply said goodbye. He was standing in the doorway to his bedroom. I had to pass the doorway on my way out.
He did not intend to come downstairs.
The pretense was ended. The two of them were gone, and the dog with them.
Another errand, an excuse to be away.
My car came. It pulled up at the end of the road, 50 yards away. The driver did not get out.
As instructed.
I picked up my bags and closed the bedroom door behind me.
He was standing in the doorway to his room.
I said goodbye.
It was the only word possible.
He just looked at me.
He just looked at me. I don't blame him. I didn't think much of myself either by that time. I must have been about halfway down the stairs. I heard him say, "Be careful."
Those words were so unexpected.
Those words were so unexpected. They did something to me, to my mind.
What happened next is like a dream.
What happened next is like a dream. I will say it once, here, in front of you, then never again in my life to anyone. What happened next is the reason I have resigned.
From the service.
What happened next has left a scar that I hope no one will ever see. I crossed the front room at the bottom of the stairs. At the door, I turned to take one last look.
You teach yourself to do that.
It is a form of cleaning up your memory, that last look, in case anyone should ask.
In case you should ever need it.
And in the window on the right, I saw
A
it.
dog was looking in the window.
I could see just the face above the sill, just looking. Jesus, what am I doing
Just
here?
a dog looking in the window.
And it was terrifying, like he had said. There was a coldness in the room.
I hope I will never feel that feeling again. I started running toward the car,
A grown woman running
and there was no sound anywhere.
until the car started.
I had the feeling that I would never get there. I had the feeling that the car would leave before I got to it, and that I would never stop running, ever.
What happened next has already been described.
It is in my record.
Thank you. This has been very helpful.
We would appreciate your confidentiality, of course. Stories like the one you've just told
Become more important later.
later in one's life, they become more important, just as the urgency seems lessened.
The basic equation of old age.
More important to be told, less important to be kept back.
We appreciate your understanding of this as of now.
Your services have been more than excellent, but let us stress again the warning.
Before you are excused to go.
The story is more or less what we expected. It has been told in other forms.
It verifies opinion.
It is the reason we are here. The more cause, then, that it should rest.
If we may be somewhat dramatic in speaking of it.
You should take it to your grave.
Yes, sir. Dead. Suddenly, I realize that I am very tired. The burden of improvisation watchfulness about what the body says. Smiling as if listening to a voice from the silence. Every detail of human appearance is to be memorized. Against the chance that the passerby will enter. The burden of the importance of inaccuracy of memory. Is not my brother in the ordinary sense. It is a word we use in the department. It means someone you can count on. Many circumstances. The waiter appears and takes away the menu. A cue to end the phantom conversation. I hang up and the telephone is removed. I don't know how long the scene has lasted. code was neither literal nor obviously descriptive. It covered age and sex, color and length and treatment of hair, various ways of saying how tall, how heavy for the body size, apparent physical strength, style of clothing, whether something was carried, a purse or briefcase, any special fact that might serve as some sort of warning. The simple purpose was to repeat a description in a different code. The person described as sought is the same person in a different code. I believe it is a kind of confirmation, both for the listener, whoever that was, and for the speaker, a double check against the memory.
It seems unlikely that something as peculiar as the reciting of a list of personals to a phone caller would go unnoticed in a cafe.
As I understood the assignment, my job was not to go unnoticed. As you must know, no arrangement can be perfect in this calling. Or perhaps they were perfect. I did as I was told.
There were too many words of different sorts for your explanation to be believable.
It is not important to me that you believe me. You called me here. I have been trained. I have described my role as best I can. The menu was not such that you could order food from. Most of what happened makes no sense to me.
Can't remember enough of the code to be able to describe yourself to us now.
No. Nor would it have any meaning if I could. The words were as senseless as they seem. Maybe they were the most important words I have ever spoken. Maybe it was just another test.
What was the outcome?
He